I had Ramsay-Hunt syndrome once. I'd have to say that I was at my absolute lowest right then and there. Understanding the importance of regular exercise and what it does, not only for me physically, but mentally and emotionally. So when I'm down...
As a skier, any advice on how to go from intermediate level to expert level?
Yeah. So let me tell you, I can answer that one with such clarity because I was an intermediate skier forever. And the supplement thing is so confusing and so overwhelming. A lot of people think, oh, you don't need supplements. All you need to do is eat good food. Well, most people don't. Here's the thing about supplements. Here I am, Tony Horton, and I'm very excited because what is this called, Shauna?
Ask me anything.
That's right.
Let's ask Tony anything.
Actually, we should change it to ask me almost anything because I don't know about anything. But we've got some great questions that people have submitted through my newsletter. And by the way, if you don't have the newsletter yet, then I highly recommend that you do. Go to Tony Horton Fitness, TonyHortonLife.com. My apologies. Right. And you get the newsletter, and then you get to ask me these. We're going to do these often. It's very exciting. Sean, I want you to read that first question.
All right.
I'm ready.
How do you deal with taking it easy and then getting back to being consistent?
Oh, how do I? Well, you know what? Life is filled with yin and yang. If you don't know what yin and yang is, that's balance. The pendulum always swings in both directions. So it's important that you just relax sometimes and you meditate and you walk your dog and you get in the garden and you just kind of chill out. And, you know, you can do that for 24 hours, but after that 24 hours is up, it's time to get busy again. And so if you intellectually know that this combination is very, very important for you to be consistent. We all know that consistency is very, very important when it comes to really getting the results that you want. I know everybody listening wants results, and I hope my profile looks pretty good in this crappy light. So, the goal here is minimum 22 days a month. And I was on a podcast just yesterday, and they just love the idea of breaking out an old school calendar and taking your red magic marker and making those 22 X's. And most months have about 30 days, 31 days. Except for that crazy February, and making a turn. You would, Shauna, show them the snowstorm. Look at that.
It doesn't show up on here very well.
Oh, well, all right, never mind. And so, too many people I think are pushing too hard and training all too hard, and other people are just working out 2 or 3 times a week. And if you overtrain and undertrain, you're not going to get the results that you want. If you overtrain, you're going to be sore all the time. You're not going to recover in time, and you're not taking that downtime. You're not taking that relaxing me time. And that me time can be, taking naps, meditation, breath work, infrared saunas, Theragun, foam rolling, whatever, playing your favorite Led Zeppelin album. I go with Led Zeppelin too. That's just me. So that's kind of the pattern. If you know that pattern for real and you trust that pattern, you get the results that you want. Bang. Next question.
All right. What is your least favorite exercise?
Exercise or exercises? Look, I don't love the plyo. Right, as I have a love-hate relationship with the plyometrics, but I'm here in Jackson Hole, and without the plyo, I wouldn't be able to do what I love to do on this mountain, right? So what I usually do is I have a lot of accountability in the fact that I invite a lot of friends, and they come to my house, and they can be online, they can be at your house, they can be at the gym, it doesn't matter, but yeah. And look, a lot of people think I'm just a big yoga lover. I'm not great at yoga. I mean, I'm pretty good, and it's a struggle for me, but what I love about plyo and yoga is the fact that the benefits are so huge. It's all about quality of life and longevity and strength and mobility and flexibility and being mindful at the same time. Well, you can't be too mindful during plyo, but certainly during yoga. And so I think it's just, it's okay. I mean, everybody has things they don't love. And if you don't love them, that means you got to do them because you're working on your weaknesses, and working on your weaknesses is how you become successful when it comes to your overall fitness, top to bottom. You want to separate you don't want to separate the upper from the lower. You want to connect it all. And both yoga and plyo do that. So there you go.
All right. How do you lose stubborn visceral fat?
Oh, visceral fat. Well, it starts with the diet. Most people have visceral fat because they haven't eaten well. And visceral fat is very dangerous. It can cause a lot of diseases. A lot of people who end up with heart attacks and strokes and hypertension and high blood pressure and you name it, even things like cancer and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and the list goes on and on and on. And it just, a lot of it has to do with just changing your diet, and diet is huge. And then of course, any kind of exercise where you're burning calories, whether it's resistance or cardio or I've come to a stop, and I don't know what that sound is, but we're gonna stop that sound. Oh, I know what that is. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Should we stay in the car, honey?
Sure.
We're in the car.
You can hold this now, then.
Okay. You read the questions and I'll hold it. Hopefully you could see me. Is that good?
That's great.
How's my lighting? Yeah, so that visceral fat, and it's always good to get kind of a body scan if you have a place to go do that, and that body scan will tell you exactly how much you have, and depending on whether you're an ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph, everybody has different body shapes and stuff. That's an important thing to look after. That's a great question. I don't know who asked that question, but it's diet number one. All right, the less garbage going in, the less stuff's going to end up, all around those internal organs, and so of course exercise is part of removing it as well. So there you go.
Okay. When you're at your absolute lowest, what motivates you to show up?
Oh, my absolute. Well, look, hey, I had Ramsay Hunt syndrome once, and I was, I'd have to say I was at my absolute lowest right then and there. And so understanding the importance of regular exercise and what it does, not only for me physically, but mentally and emotionally, I just know that when I move, whether it's yoga or plyo or chest and back or going for a run or getting on my bike or skiing out here in Jackson Hole, is that there's a mental and emotional shift that happens from that. So when I'm down, what a lot of people typically do is they do the opposite. They do they start drinking, they start smoking, they start taking drugs, they stop exercising altogether, and they start eating all those comfort foods because they get that little temporary high that sort of satisfies their needs in that moment. But in reality, they're making it worse, exacerbating. Thank you. Shauna's here to help me pronounce my words properly. So when I'm really down, exercise is my number one goal, my number one, check that list. And by the way, when I'm really kind of exhausted too and I'm down, my expectations are in the toilet. They're absolutely at the bottom. If I have a run planned, I probably will walk run or jog walk run. I won't go for it all the way, but I know intuitively because I'm actually moving. Am I still on camera here? How about now?
Do you want me to flip it and then you can see yourself?
Flip it. Yeah, here we go.
You're flipped.
No, now we're all looking at you.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Mrs. Horton. Oh, look at that. I'm a ghost. Hi, waving, and waving, everybody. All right. When in doubt, move. It'll change your brain, and that'll make you, get in a new headspace.
What are your cheat meals / snacks?
What are my cheat meals / snacks? Well, I used to be and this is only about a 3-week thing for me. I used to be a cookies, crackers, chips that were low glycemic, high in fiber, gluten-free, vegan. All right. So think about that. Those are all good things. But I was eating out of cans, bottles, boxes, and bags, if you know what I mean, like processed food. Stuff was made in a factory, even though it's vegan and it's gluten-free and it's healthy and blah, all those sorts of things. And I was noticing that my sleep still wasn't great and I was kind of moody. And as of 3 weeks ago, I had this amazing conversation with Michelle Pettis, who was such an inspiration to me. And she just said, for her, based on all the struggles that she's had with food all these years, if it's not loaded with vitamins, loaded with minerals, and super nutritious, it doesn't go in here anymore. And I went, oh my God, I'm like the P90X guy, Power of 4 guy, Power Nation guy. I got to do that too. And I have for the last 3 weeks. And I lost 7 pounds, and I didn't want to lose the 7 pounds, but all that extra processed, factory, manufactured food.
Goo.
Boo.
No, I said goo.
Goo. Yeah, my visceral fat must be like 0.00001 because of it. But I just feel amazing, and I don't have any aches and pains. And, even foods like that can cause inflammation and stomach issues. So here it is. You want to know what my thing is? Brian Palatucci and Heather Palatucci's sourdough bread with fresh homemade guacamole. That is my number one cheat meal. And now I just do nuts and berries. I'm a nuts and berries guy. I've cut all those cookies, crackers, and chips out.
You're like a bear.
I'm like a bear. I am.
Okay. You ready? Next one?
I'm ready.
Which breakfast cereals do you recommend?
Breakfast cereals. So I don't eat breakfast cereals anymore. What I recommend is puffed kamut. It's one ingredient. It's usually sprouted. It's kamut, but it's puffed, or puffed rice. Things like that are okay. And if you want to sprinkle a little, what would you sprinkle on that to give it a little bit of love, Mrs. Horton? If you want to.
I mean, you could probably put a little bit of coconut sugar on there, but I'd say the higher fiber, the better, because that's going to offset the glycemic.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and if any kind of cereal that you buy in the stores, anything that's got to be under five grams of sugar per serving. And most servings are a cup. And how many people just eat a cup of cereal?
And I'd say try and get at least 5 grams of fiber in there as well.
Yeah. So high fiber, low sugar, minimal ingredients, gluten-free, vegan cereals, which is like, you got to go hunting for that kind of thing. Look at all the hearts. Thank you. You like this look? Yeah. Here I am. Yeah, but I don't eat cereal anymore. I'm done. That's not how I do it in the morning. I have my shake. I put my Power Life, I put it in a blender with my blueberries and my cashews and my Foundation 4 and my unsweetened vanilla flaxseed milk. You know how hard it is to milk a flaxseed? That's just hard as hell to do that. But I love all the hearts, you guys. You're awesome. Yeah, I mean, what? I don't need those carbs in the morning. I don't. You know what I mean? I have to, later in the day. My reward is my sourdough bread with guacamole on top. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, how has your understanding of health and fitness changed over the years from your initial journey?
Well, that's a great question. Hope you all heard that. How have my thoughts and feelings about health and fitness and exercise? When I was younger and I was single, it was all about, how big are my arms, how much I can bench, all these, the purpose that was really based in ego and self-esteem and trying to impress others and whatever. You know what I mean? And so now it's all about health and wellness and flexibility. For example, a lot of people are still stuck in the weight training, resistance, hypertrophy, cardio combo. They either do one or the other, or they do both, and they figure that's enough, but they're neglecting balance. They're neglecting flexibility / range of motion. They're neglecting speed. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are just in the gym and they're lifting and they're going to classes, but they're not on their bike. They're not ice skating. They're not skiing. They're not doing athletic things that require, hand-eye coordination and stability and proprioception and athletic movements. It's like, for me, I have a ninja course in my backyard. My whole yard looks like Cirque du Soleil. And as a 65-year-old, that stuff, those types of things that are difficult, there's a very long learning curve. And you have to get fit through home fitness before you're even able to try those kinds of things. So the things that I still lift weights and I still do push-ups and pull-ups and the things that brung me, but I'm always adding on. I'm always adding on new things that I never used to do when I was starting out.
Okay. How do you bounce back from an injury or surgery?
An injury or surgery? Well, that's a great question. Many of you know they got Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, down 30 pounds, couldn't get out of bed, did a lot of vomiting, a lot of weeping. And so you just have to, once you get the go-ahead from your doctor or your physical therapist or whoever it is, the person that says, hey, man, now you can start. Hopefully you're dealing with somebody who says, hey, you got to start out slow, nice and easy. Make sure that you have, an expert there, a trainer or a physical therapist. Like Shauna goes to this gal, Holly in LA, because after her post-surgical ACL surgery, there's a lot of rehab before she just started, exercising again. I mean, here it is a full year since that happened. And the other day was her first day skiing. And so it's not like you don't want to jump into these things too soon. Talk to the experts, the people who are there to help you, listen to them and do what they say and be the tortoise, not the hare. Because if you're the hare, you're going to get hurt again. And you just want to make sure that the process is nice and slow. And that takes the pressure off. When the pressure's off, like, oh, okay, I don't have to knock it out of the park right away. And a lot of people's ego, I used to be so fit. I used to be so strong. I used to be able to do so much. And now the doctor says I'm okay. And they try to go back to doing that. Don't do that. All right. Just be mellow, man. Be mellow.
Okay. In your opinion, what does training like an athlete look like? You kind of answered that. But.
Yeah. There's regular home fitness, right? So you're in front of a TV and there's a lot of things that you're doing there that are pretty awesome. And you're taking care of yourself and you're changing your diet and you're getting stronger and you're getting more flexible. And that's great. And you go to the gym and you get the same kind of thing. You're working on equipment. But as soon as you sort of add, you get off the stationary bike and you get on the real bike. You get off the VersaClimber and you go real climbing. You get off the ski machine, a skier's edge machine, and you go slap on a pair of skis and you go out in the world and do it. And so, indoor training for the outside world. That's a trademark thing that I have. So you train for the indoors to get outside, and that's the next level stuff. And that keeps you interested. It works on so many other aspects of your fitness. And there's a fun factor. I mean, working out in the house by myself is fun sometimes, but for the most part, I'm not that into it. But when I get outdoors, when I get up in the morning in this snowstorm and start ripping down that mountain, I'm so glad I've taken care of myself on the inside. So there you go.
Well, since you're talking about ripping down a mountain, I'm going to go to this question.
Ooh.
As a skier, any advice on how to go from intermediate level to expert level?
Yeah. So let me tell you, I can answer that one with such clarity because I was an intermediate skier forever. And I was an intermediate skier forever, even though I was training and doing the slide board and doing the ski machine and doing plyo, but I wasn't working on the skiing part, right? How do you get better at something if you're not upgrading your technique? And that usually requires a coach or an expert instructor, a ski instructor. I mean, I was stuck forever in my 40s, and maybe those are friends coming. There could be a hello happening in a second because we got some people staying with us. So, I went to 15 ski camps, and I started a lesson a month ago just so I could be better at what I'm doing here. And so if you don't have any outside intel coming in from somebody else who's really good, who's somebody who you admire, somebody who you want to emulate, then you're just never going to get better. You can't get better skiing, through the internet or Googling it or something like that. You got to get out there and you got to work with somebody who can give you new ideas and new ways. I mean, when Sean and I go out there, I just showed her some of the stuff that I did and she improved like that. So you take out the old intel that's not helping you get better and you add the new stuff, and that there's a learning curve there. All right. It could be, and a lot of people, they only ski 5, 10, 15 days a year, 20 days a year. So it's really hard to get better if you're not doing it often, just like with exercise. So There you go.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the one I just skipped. So for Power of 4, do you have any one-on-one type workouts coming in the future?
Oh, yes, we do. Now, Sean is so excited about this question. Remember, the one-on-one series that I did with P90X was super popular. It was really fun. It was just me and Mason Bendewall, and he was there with a camera, and I would split my pants, and we'd keep going. They were unedited all the way through. It was really silly and irreverent. And I miss them and I love them. We can't call them that anymore, but they're going to be on Facebook. So
Tony Horton Fitness Facebook page.
The Tony Horton Fitness Facebook page. Look at the happy faces going up. And they'll average out about 30 minutes, maybe 40 sometimes. So look for those, and they'll be live, which is cool.
We'll announce them.
And we'll announce them. Yeah, we'll give you, like this, we gave you some announcement. So we'll let you know in advance. All the hearts. Yeah, it's going to be fun to do those again. Well, I might have special guests. It'll be not one-on-one, but one-on-one on another one.
One-on-one with an irreverent guest.
Yeah. We'll bring Tony Kern. We'll bring Andy Lawrence for one. We'll do Tony Kern for one. We'll bring Brian Palatucci. Oh my God, those will be a blast. We'll try to knock out a couple of those a month. That's the goal.
Okay. What kind of exercise movements do you recommend for strength training at home?
Wow. P90X, Power of 4. What kind of strength training exercises? Hey, look, strength training requires muscle recruitment, right? It requires hypertrophy movement. It requires breaking down the muscle. High rep, low weight exercises aren't going to really build a lot of muscle. And this is not necessarily just for dudes. I got a question from a girl. It's the same thing. Am I doing this? I really want to get super muscular, which was kind of amazing and impressive. So you're bench pressing and you're squatting with weights and you're doing lat pull downs and you're doing bicep curls and tricep extensions and you name it. That's just your basic 101. Oddly enough, and you're probably going to be surprised, Sean T over at Beachbody's got a new program. I don't know much about it, but his body's changed dramatically, and it's just good old fashioned. Who was our pal back in the old days? Who was our bodybuilder for?
What happened? Oh no!
The car. That's it. That's all you're going to get. Hold on, wait.
Can you turn it back on?
Yeah, I can turn it. There we go. That was a little. The car's like the battery's going to die. There we go.
Woo.
Turn yours on too, Mama. There we go.
All right.
Oof. Yeah, there we are. So, you know what I mean? You can do it on your own. You can go to the gym and learn how to do it, or you can get back to the P90X version, which was just right. So there's that as an option as well. Yeah, there you
go. How long after a killer workout is a muscle made?
How long is a muscle made? Well, the minute you start to feel that burn. Like, let's say you're like 1, 2, 3, not so much, rep 5, 6, 7, you're trying to, between 8 to 12 repetitions, between 8 and 12, like, you're struggling. Always trying to maintain that good form. That's very important. But like when you feel that burn, it's like, whoa. And then the following day, when you feel that burn, you've broken down the muscle tissue. It's all gnarled up, man. You know, the blood's in there. It's trying to repair itself. The breakdown happens during, and several hours after, but the following day is when it starts to heal again. That soreness is your body healing and transforming and changing its shape. It's pretty cool. So that's why you got to keep doing it. It's like everything else, right? The more you do, the better you get, and the consistency again is like my number one answer for that.
Okay. Anything next for you after Power Sync 60? What's your next big goal?
Well, those one-on-ones, I would say, was certainly it. We've got some new people coming in. Should we tell them about Ashley's thing?
Yeah.
Now, we have a dance program with Ashley. Cabanillas is her name. And she's just amazing and wonderful and lovely and beautiful and a great instructor. And we've never had a dance program on the platform. We're going to shoot it in a couple of months, and it'll probably be out about 3 months after that. In the summertime. But so look for that. Ashley Cabanillas' dance program. And here's what's cool about it. There are levels. Like, here's what the beginners need to do. And then you have the intermediate, like with skiing. All right. I've seen a lot of dance classes. Shauna's taken them in LA. She goes in there. They're not cueing it right. They're not
meniscus.
Yeah. She tore her meniscus in a dance class because they were asking her to fly around through the air without breaking it down. Right. So this is especially good for people who don't not only like to dance, but people who would like to be better at dancing because of the way that Ashley sets it up so that you succeed long term, which is great. Modifications, powering down, all that kind of stuff is all there.
What would be your number one rule for cardio time for somebody who's 60 and over?
Oh, well, how much, look, if your heart is elevated for an extended period of time of 20 minutes or more, it's basically a cardio session. You know what I mean? And you do what you can do before you feel exhausted, basically. And probably that's not the best answer in the world. But I mean, I'm 65. My cardio sessions are an hour and 10 minutes. My plyo session is an hour plus, which isn't really, it's more like interval training than it is cardio. But people get confused about the word cardio. Swimming is cardio when you're swimming, right? Biking is cardio. If you're doing anything that you can sustain past, like plyo is not cardio because you can't be jumping for 20, 30, 40 minutes at a time. Like you look at all my plyo routines, there's stagnant exercises, there's isometric exercises, and then there's plyometric exercises, even though we call it plyo. Not the whole thing is plyo. So it's really important to understand that you want to get a heart monitor, you want to see what your cardiovascular heart rate is. There's a fat burning zone, there's a higher heart rate zone, which is more of an athletic performance zone. And you just learn what that is, and you hang in that zone, and then, you do it for 20 minutes, 30, 40, whatever you can do. I mean, not all 60-year-olds are the same.
All right. Next one is, so you've probably answered this a million times, but I'm a male in my 40s looking to get healthier on the inside, not just physically fit. What kind of vitamins and supplements do you recommend?
Oh, my goodness. Look at Sean. I was looking for our friends that are coming in a second. Hey, look, I designed Power Life because I think almost everything you need is in all those products. The whey protein, the plant protein, the foundation for the replenish, the endurance, the MTC collagen. I mean, that's a great place to start. A good multivitamin. I take the Primal Nutrition multivitamins, even though maybe, because I train so damn hard, I need everything I can to help my body heal and repair itself. Yeah, and the supplement thing is so confusing and so overwhelming. And you just have to, here's the thing about supplements. Check in, like make a note about how you feel, like your inflammation, how tired you are, how sore you are, how quickly or slowly you're recovering. Like, the answers to those questions. And so write those questions down. Oh, recovery time, a day and a half. I'm still sore after 2 days. I recover pretty quickly. I'm exhausted all the time. I feel like I have brain fog, blah, blah, blah. These are all these. Just take a check-in on sort of your overall wellness, and then take the supplements, whatever one that you pick, mine or whoever, and then just for 2 weeks, give it 2 weeks, and then check to see your answers and see if your answers are different or better. If your answers are better, then whatever you're taking is probably working. You know, and a lot of people think, oh, you don't need supplements. All you need to do is eat good food. Well, most people don't. It's overcooked. It's been sitting in warehouses. It's overly processed. We're not getting the vitamins, nutrients, and minerals that we need.
And our soil is stripped.
And our soil is stripped. Shauna so hates our soil.
And I would add one more thing, because this person says I'm in my 40s. I would say anyone in their 40s should get a complete blood panel every year. Make sure you're getting your vitamins
twice a year.
Your vitamin D, your vitamin B, all those things. And that right there will tell you.
Yeah, exactly right. That's. I mean, not everybody works with a nutritionist or an endocrinologist, but if you can and you understand how important that is, then ask them to give you the blood work that you need to get those numbers. A regular doc, a regular MD, he takes about 4 or 5 drops out and he says your cholesterol is fine. You can go home. Don't do it, man. Also, a friend of mine died of a heart attack. My buddy Bill, on September 18th, died of a heart attack, and he was resuscitated. But he was first attempt gone, second attempt gone, and 2 weeks earlier he had an EKG, full bill of health. Bill, you're good. His Widowmaker valve was 100% blocked, and the only way you find that out is through an electrocardiogram. So get your electrocardiogram, not an EKG, because that doesn't tell you nothing. All right, it tells you how many beats per minute you have or whatever. So that's really important. And a lot of people don't realize that their valves in there. And Bill's fit. He works out all the time. He runs around the neighborhood with a rucksack. I mean, he's a former Navy SEAL. And so if the woman who in that gym, who was 10 feet away from him, who did the CPR classes in the gym, he said, if I was in the locker room, died. If I was walking to the car, died. If I was in my car driving, I would have driven off the road or hit somebody else. So God bless the boy, because I love him to death. I'm glad he's still here. So these are important things to know. And you do that by getting good blood work and getting an electrocardiogram.
Or a full body scan.
Full body scan, too. How we doing, Hama?
You've got one more question to answer. That's about all you have time for. And this one also happens to be on supplements, if you're up for another supplement question.
All right.
Pete's, and you basically almost answered this. So Pete says, supplements remain confusing to me. It's not clear which supplements I would benefit from. I actively work out 7 days a week. I follow most of the programs on Power of 4. I eat well, but still not getting the results I'm looking for. So I don't know what results he's looking for. Maybe more muscle mass, maybe getting more.
Well, look, like I was like, you almost set me up for like Johnny Spokesman for Power 4 or for Power Life. You know, when I got sarcopenia, not sarcopenia. Yeah, I got sarcopenia. I got a form of sarcopenia when I lost all that weight with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. And so the formulation that they came up with, our buddy Science Will there, his name is Will Vanilla. Think of how many L's that is. It's like 17 L's. And he's just brilliant, and he's got all these different degrees in health science and nutrition science and stuff. And they put HMB and vitamin D3, massive doses in both the whey and plant protein. So if you're not getting the results you want, go to MyPowerLife, MyPowerLife.com. Use the Tony 30. Don't ever buy PowerLife full price again. Use the Tony 30 discount code. And of course, if you buy in bulk, you can save even more money. When you buy in bulk, you can't use the Tony 30 discount code. But
no spaces, all caps too.
All spaces, all caps. These things matter. So that's really, really important. And the Foundation 4, too, is just going to help your digestion. I mean, those are the two go-to for me. I mean, I do both morning and night. I just do. And they were designed for me based on what I was going through. And if you're over the age of 40, even if you're over the age of 35, sarcopenia is coming, man. And you don't see too many jacked bodybuilders at the age of 45, well, maybe 45. Not in their 60s or 70s. And right now, I mean, I'm as muscular as I've ever been. I'm a little on the light side because I don't eat anything but vegetables anymore, and my protein shakes. So I hope that answers your question. And ta-da, everybody. Yeah. And here we are in the car. Sorry about this. We were hoping to get home way in time. Traffic was nuts. It's snowing like crazy outside. It's absolutely beautiful, though. But we had to do this in the car. So I want to thank you. Hold on. I want to hit some waves. Waving and waving. Shauna's going to go inside. Here, I'll open up the garage door for you, Mrs. Horton. Na, 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 na.
But we said we'd be there.
On time.
And we were there.
Man and woman of our word, everybody. And I'm going to wave again. All the hearts, all the hearts. I love you guys as well. And thanks for coming over to the Tony Horton Fitness page. You know, the Tony S. Horton page is still rocking, and there's great intel over there. But this is where, and I'm trying to keep my promise when it comes to, hey, this is where we said the fun intel is going to be, and here it is. I'm waving to you. You're sending me hearts. Love is in the air. And by the way, next week's Tony Talk on Tuesday, of course, a very interesting topic that I've been kind of sussing out here for some time. And it's really based in fear and frustration and altering your attitude and really dealing with a lot of sort of the angst and anger that a lot of people deal with. And I'm going to tell a personal story too about that. And I think you guys and gals will like this, because there's a lot of really bad juju in the air, a lot of negative energy. And it's time that we take a look at ourselves first, right? We got to deal with ourselves first. And when we take care of that, when we start making those adjustments in our life, it's just it's not only a reflection of ourselves, but how we deal with other people, how we're more open to other people, how we can be more joyous and happy and laughing. And I learned this because I'm married to that gal, and she wants me. What's my job, honey?
To make my life awesome.
So if I'm a
bad dude,
not a good dude, I want to be the best dude I can be for this woman that I love so much. All right, everybody. Thank you.